Hey, so do I have someone that I want you to meet? Now, if you're a service provider, this is someone that I have known for, gosh, probably I think about 2 years now, 2, 3 years now. And his name is Jacob Mills, and he is the owner of Dryer Vent Tech out of Nashville. And he and I have been working on some stuff behind the scenes for, I think, about the past 6 months or so, roughly. At least it's what it's felt like. It's blinked by so fast. But we've been working on different strategies and different ideas on how to combine ways and tools to help him save time. Because he's a service provider, he needs to be on the job site. He needs to be focused on getting clients, closing them, and also making sure that he's getting questions answered for people who are wanting to buy his services. And so, like, how do you balance the two? And that's where we came up with integrating a chatbot into his organic strategies and doing some different things. But I want to bring him on here for him to share his story. Like, I want to interview him and he share his side of it instead of you just hearing me talk about there's more. I want you to actually meet him. And with that being said, what I'm going to do is actually bring him on here a little bit. I'm going to need to get my energy drink. If you can't tell that I'm kind of tired. But I want you to meet him, share his story. So, Jacob, I'm going to go ahead and bring you on here. I think he is on here. And Miss Fran Frederick, how are you doing? Whoop, hang on one second. Bring him back in. And let's see. Hopefully the Facebook live stream will behave enough to where we can. Let's go ahead and bring him on in because, guys, there's some unique things that he's been doing on his side of it. And we've been combining and being able to flesh out different strategies and different things that actually work without spending money on Facebook ads because Facebook ads still work. They're not a big taboo on anything, but they are getting more difficult with stuff. And so you just have to keep up on your game on that kind of stuff. But there are organic ways to actually generate appointments where people will either go through automatically through the automation or actually go through where you can actually pause stuff, talk with them, go back at any point in time. It's actually really cool. And so hang on one second. Let me see if Facebook will behave enough to allow me to bring him in. Peter, what's up, buddy? It's been a minute. And okay, so Jacob's not here just yet. Let me go ahead and bring him on here in just a second. He was just in here. He's over there. He's inviting some folks to it too. Because, guys, his story is really cool because when any kind of tool, and I kind of preface this as well, is that any kind of tool that we use, it has to make sure that we amplify our priorities. And if it's not amplifying the priorities, then what's really the point of it? It's more so of a distraction. And let's see. Hang on one second. Facebook's giving us a little hissy fit right now. You gotta love technology. That's another thing, man. It's a great servant, terrible master. That's for sure. So hang tight with me just a second while we get all this all figured out, and we'll go ahead and get everything situated. So let's go ahead. Jay, what's up, buddy? And let's go ahead and figure this darn thing out. Don't you love Facebook? Facebook's great for some things, it's terrible for others. Let's go ahead and bring them on. Let's see. Whoops. What's up, Michael? How's it going, man? James, how you doing? I'm trying to bring on Jacob Mills right now. Let's see if he's jumping on. I think he's going to load back on. And hang on one second. I can't see him on here, man. I'm messaging him on privately right now. So once we get him on here, we're going to go ahead and just share his story because I think that a lot of it's not just about different tools. It's about the application to it. It's not just about the information. It's how we use it. And so it's really cool to be able to use a tool that you don't have to spend your firstborn as a deposit to use. A lot of companies are out there. Their end game is data, and a lot of times they'll try to have you sacrifice your soul to even get access to it almost. And there's a lot of useful resources that are out right in front of us that if we knew how to connect the dots and be able to use the right tools to save us time, it's really powerful how we can actually help. Where is he at? Use Zoom. It goes, I know, right? This is off the whim, so let's see. And usually too, I like to jump on Facebook and do a split screen on this kind of stuff too, because sometimes I'm on, but how do I share my screen? You on your phone? All right, there should be, kind of guided him through this right now, guys. On the bottom. All right, so we had a little technical difficulty, so he's going to jump on his phone. We're going to get him on, rotate that phone sideways, and then that way we can bring him on. That way he can share his phone. Yep, turn phone. Exactly. And so we'll go ahead. No, so actually what's unique is that if you do phone side by side, you get a double split screen, like right here, you can look at each other. Or if you do your phone this way, then what happens is actually you can start to, you'll be able to have like a little, like a Men in Black, thing coming up your shoulder right here, looking at you. So you can look at them like that, or you can do side by side. It's almost like a talk show host. So I'm gonna see if he's on here really quick. Hang tight. And all right, Wendell Silva, what's up, buddy? Okay, so we're gonna. All right, let's go ahead. Figure out what's going on right now. Hang tight with this, guys. Aha! I think we got him. There he is. And I think we got it. I think we got it. Hey.
There it is.
There he is.
I was trying to use my desktop, but it didn't seem to be working out too well. So there we go.
Now that's what happens with Facebook Live when you have to go live stream double split screen. You have to do a phone to phone, like both are horizontal, and it's really interesting because if you do desktop to desktop, that's the only way to do it. So it's a little nuance that's come up with it. So it is what it is. But man, I've been sharing a lot about you on like what Dryer Vent Tech is, man. Just give them the story about what is Dryer Vent Tech, like what is the whole entire business, what you do, and like because I know we've known each other for years, and we just got around to working together on some stuff, which felt great. But man, just give them some background about the business.
Absolutely, man. I really appreciate this. So Dryer Vent Tech is a dryer vent cleaning and maintenance business, but it's a little bit more than that. It's a local marketing case study that I started in 2017. August was my first month, and I just wanted to demonstrate how to quickly grow a local business without wasting money on expensive advertisements. And so I use, search engine optimization. I just started this really cool hack that I've been using to gain an extra 5 to 10 extra clients and customers in my business using each week using local groups as well. So that's basically what that is.
Well, and that's the thing too. Like, share with them kind of the stuff that you usually do on a day-to-day basis on like generating leads, and then let's kind of segue into how that even came into discussion, because a lot of folks are intimidated by it too, because they're thinking they don't want to add anything to their plate or go crazy. They don't want to become Inspector Gadget or whatever that may be. But just share with them about what you've been doing, because it's not rocket science. I mean, it's not like you discovered fire.
No, I mean there's a science to it, but it's definitely not rocket science. I mean it's something that you can fairly, here's the thing. If you're a business owner and you're a local business owner, then nobody understands your business as good as you do, because you have to deal with these clients and customers. You're growing your business. You're in charge of the future of your business, and you understand how your customers think and how that plays into growing your business. So you have way more of an advantage than you think. So what it is it's understanding what makes your customers tick and the value that your customers are trying to get from doing business with you. If you know that, then you can take that and basically just scale your business using these groups, using paid advertisements. But mainly what I started out with was local SEO. And so that's basically just positioning your website directly in front of. There for a second.
You had a phone call coming, guys.
Yeah, I must have had a phone call or something. Might have been a lead or something. So that's basically what it is using that to position your website as an authority in front of people who are already looking for what you have to offer. Cutting out these other, companies like Home Advisor and all these other companies that want to stand in between you and your customers as a middleman, and just figuring out where your customers are and just meeting them where they are. That's marketing. I mean, you just need to meet them exactly where they are and figure out how to grab their attention, bring them in, and game over.
You're distracted by the noise in the background, like, what's
Yeah,
going on?
live right by a fire station, so yeah.
Well, that's the thing. Like a lot of folks, when we talk about chatbots and we talk about different ways and tools to enhance what we're doing, like when you and I first talked about it, what was the first thought that came to mind? Like seriously, and be honest, don't cut any corners on it either, because I know that there were some interesting thoughts that came to mind. What initially it
Right.
was.
Well, what initially came to my mind was this is exactly what I need at this exact point in time, because I was already testing out some strategies and some group posting at that point, and had tried running some Facebook ads, had varied success.
I think you got another phone call, guys.
Is there a way to turn that off? I guess there's no way when you're doing it on your mobile device. So then, we connected, and like you said, we've known each other for years, but we connected, and you said you were getting into Facebook bots and automation. And it's funny because I had been telling a lot of my friends and family that are interested in what I'm doing, I had been telling them my game plan. I said, I'm starting to get into automation, and I'm going to be starting to, put together a bot and do some viral marketing and stuff like that. And then you come along and say, hey, this is what I'm doing. So, I don't even think I really even told you that, but that I'm like, dude, we need to talk, man. This is exactly what I'm trying to do right now. So
That's awesome. Like, well, that's another thing too, is that with being able to implement that, like, that's where I'd love to jump in, because my family, I mean, that's how I got my start, was in blue collar. My dad had a tree business for 20 years, and I grew up in the service providing business. Like, and I remember seeing the stress and the strain, and having a lot of stuff that was going on behind the scenes, and so my heart went out, and I'm thinking to myself, like, behind the scenes, like,
my dad had tree business for. This is like my first Facebook Live, so please excuse me.
Doing good, man.
I'm all
well, but
thumbs
that's
right
the thing with your operation.
I just said I'm all thumbs right now. Go ahead.
No, you're good. So, like, what are some of the things that happened with everything with your sales and marketing when we actually kicked off the bot? Like you said, we were going over some of the stats earlier. I know we have like over 200 leads that came in just from like Facebook organic, and what was it, like $4,000 in appointments that was scheduled just from Autopilot, and excluding all the stuff that for holiday season too.
Yeah, and the thing about it is, I've been really busy with the actual business. That's another thing that a lot of business owners, they get hung up on. Like, I don't know if I'm gonna have time for this. It's a legitimate thing to take into consideration. But if you just take a little bit of time out here and there, you get so good at this that it's well worth it. So I haven't really done a whole lot. I have a lot more that I can be doing. And I'm just really looking forward into the future, into, really kicking some more of this stuff off and really dialing in this strategy. But with that said, since we've been working together, I have generated over 256 leads, all by organic group posting, no Facebook marketing, no Google AdWords or anything like that. And I just recently actually posted a really good post that really grabbed my customers' attentions, and I got.
They call me Friday night at midnight too. I'm like, ding, 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 ding. Like, dude, are you on date night or something? What's going on?
And they started coming through, ding, ding. So I posted a really good post that really, was effective. And what happened was, within 24 hours, I generated 25 leads, and 8 of those leads converted into customers. 5 of those leads went straight through the automated bot that you had set up for me, and they just, no help from a human. We just watched them just answer the questions and talk back and forth, and then, hey, they went ahead and scheduled an appointment. 5 of those. 3 of those decided that they would reach out and do it the old-fashioned method. So, but
I mean, and that's the thing, like, so that's just 35 out of the 256. And so it's like, I like to do math, like hypotheticals, that even if you were to, like, because you have them on the bot list. And so you can go back in there individually and talk with them. And I mean, just what, because you said that your average is 115, $115 for a dryer vent cleaning. And then one of the things too is that, I mean, heck, imagine, 20 out of those other ones too. That's out of organic. Well, that sounds possible. I mean, going back through all of them with some new stuff and some new promos and things.
dude, and we haven't even done that at all. We haven't even done that. We have all these leads, 256 or 53 at the moment, sitting there, and I didn't even think to just manually get in there. I have an office assistant that can do that, and so this is just literally money just sitting on the table. These leads are very valuable. So it's been very profitable so far, just by what we've done on an automated side of things. But also, there's a lot of money just from having those leads in the bot sitting there waiting for us to contact. I don't think I mentioned the 35. So 35 complete bookings. 35 35 complete bookings automated, hands-free. They just went through, they found us, they saw some of the posts, whatever, and they just booked an appointment without even having to talk to a human.
Yeah. One, see, that's another thing, like 35, that's that 4,000 though. Like, so like 30, like $4,000 just on autopilot without even lifting a finger. Because like you know your sales script, you know your customer experience, just like we were saying earlier, you know your clients. Business owners know their clients better than any marketers out there to a degree, if that's not the only niche that they're stuck into. But like that is something that's very rare to find someone like that. And it's nuts to be able to how to try and like, so a lot of folks try to volunteer ideas without ever having any experience in it either. And I mean, heck, who might preach to the choir too, and I mean, so just the other side of your business too. But man, it's interesting because like when you go back into that, I'm thinking about even if you close half of those other leads out of the 256 that are in there, no pun intended on the 256 zip code. Yep, shout out to Nashville. But being able messing with you, but being able to even close even maybe a 50 of those, that's going to be, I mean, roughly another $10,000 just sitting there right there.
Easy.
I mean,
easy. And easy. I'm excited because Black Friday is coming, Cyber Monday is coming. There's a huge advantage to use discounts and promotion. Of course, a lot of people they talk down on discounts, but the main thing is getting clients. I mean, if discounts is what you want to try, you don't have to keep the discounts around. You know what I mean? As long as you're making money, you don't discount your services past the value that you're offering, but test it out. You know what I mean? See what happens, especially around these times of years. People are looking for this type of stuff. Sometimes it's a different type of customer that you're gonna generate because they want a deal. But hey, any type of customer is perfect as long as they're not trying to swindle you or because you can't have bad customers. But discount, I've tried so many different discounts. I've tried a 15%, 20% even, and it works really well. Just getting your name out there, especially growing your business, if that's your goal, growing your business. So.
Well, there's another thing too. Like we built in that bot a downsell, or not a downsell, but letting them know that if you're outside of a driving radius too, we built something out to where it's on autopilot. We know that you've got your business model mapped out, so your driving radius. I think that's really key too for a lot of folks because you have your parameters as a local business owner that you need to be able to operate in. And then if it's outside of these parameters, here's the upcharge. If they're not okay with that upcharge, then they need to just get out and be gone because you don't have time to haggle. Like you know your numbers, what's going to make you profit margin, but also too, the little cushion room that you've got in there too, where you're like, if that ever, that rarely ever comes up, but the set price is the set price. and you know that like the back of your hand, and so it's like that bot right there, that part of it, because there's like a what, a $15
Yeah.
charge that if it's outside of like, you know, it's like in Kentucky
Yeah.
or something. But like, I'm just messing with you, he does not go to Kentucky. That face. But being able to have that bot to where it knows on automation to where it's warm, it's natural, and you're able to actually and you're able to understand exactly where things are at when it comes down to them going through that
Right.
sales cycle. I think it's super
Yeah.
cool, and especially when people see, no, it's not good for me, and you're like,
Right. I mean, the bot just takes care of the whole sales process. I mean, whether their vent is located on the ground level or not, whatever we need to know in order to price their service, it asks them the questions, they answer, it, responds accordingly. It's really cool, man. Really cool. So,
well, I'm just glad that it's helping you out. And like the time that it's saving too, I can imagine you're also able to reallocate that time and refocus your staff's time on
hmm
other things too, especially with the cash flow that's coming in. And also too, that time you can, instead of her being focused on $7 to $10 hour work, or, you know, or $10 to $15 hour work, she can focus on $50 to $100 hour work and make more time with that, because the bot's incrementally coming in and becoming smarter and being able to take over some of those tasks too. I think that's just, like, I know, I mean, have you been able to see like just a relief in the time that's being spent on that, especially
oh
answering those
yeah,
kind of questions? I bet.
yeah. Because like I said, I was testing this stuff out before we started working together, and that was what I was doing. I was just manually quoting them, and man, it can get really time consuming. I mean, just talking about it now, I'm realizing how time consuming it can be if you're just always having to check Facebook and answer these questions and stuff, especially if you're getting a high rate of conversion and you're doing well. You might want to automate some of that stuff.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. Anyone who can close via phone or text, you know, like to get an appointment needs a bot, because more than likely they have it down to a science, and they know exactly what they need to focus on. It's not a matter of, you know, does the bot, you know, eliminate the human experience, and it's designed to enhance it so that way you can make time
Right.
for your family. Like that's the real goal. Like if you can make the same amount of money spending less time on it, and incrementally create an hour, create 2 hours, create 3 hours, like that right there is a date night. Like that right there is time with your child. Like that is stuff that like you can seriously, like, because that's how granular you have to get when it comes to your
Yeah.
time. Like you have to 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there. You sneak out to make a phone call to your spouse, or just to let them know that you
Right.
love them, or that you just to hear their voice. We have those moments throughout the day, and sometimes we can't even sneak those in because we're so crowded up here that it's just
Yeah.
getting nuts. Like, and that's just
You're
reality to
speaking
it.
my language, man, because once you get overwhelmed, you start having to deal with anxiety and all kinds of other stuff. It's a downhill slide, man.
It really is. It
Yeah.
happens quick too.
Yeah, that's a whole nother subject, man. We can have a whole nother Facebook Live on just that part, because that's something I've had to deal with in the last couple of weeks, and it was
Yeah.
definitely something that was a difficulty.
And I want to ask you though, just to be real, without the bot, how much more intense would that these past couple of weeks would have been?
Oh man, I mean, if I was to generate that
Like,
much more, that much business that I generated just from that strategy without the bot, um, I would say probably 4 or 5 hours of extra work at least, just to throw a number out there. It's hard to really, it's just an estimate, obviously, but
well, I was talking about mentally, like mentally and emotionally, that you would have had to be attentive to the messages and the replies while trying to make sure your team and your crew's in place, and then also while being attentive to your
yeah.
wife, you know, and being attentive
It's
to
funny.
everything
It's
else.
funny you say wife.
I
I
just, I knew it. I slid. I knew it. See, people do that to me and Joyce all the time. They're like, your wife,
like almost. It
engaged.
sounds good to me. It sounds sweet to my ears because that's what I just got engaged.
I I love the taste of shoe leather. I really, really do.
Ah, I got interrupted again.
No,
Oh,
you're good. No, I was just saying I love the taste of shoe leather because I put my foot in my mouth a
it's
lot.
all good, man. It's all gravy. So you may as well get used to it now because you'll be calling her my wife soon. So
Oh yeah, man. It is. No, that's not leather. Yeah, it's all ready. It's all that's ready.
oh
Yeah.
man.
But like mentally and emotionally comparative, like I know that because even though they're small tasks, they still need attention. And over the past couple of weeks, and because that's another thing too, when you're spread thin, your mind, like you're stretched, what happens is when you are so dialed in and you're surrounded by the forest, the struggles personally are
Mm.
intensifying. And because we had you have 4 grand on autopilot, then like even though it's 4 to 5 hours extra, roughly, even still collectively, that's even spread out in those right pinpointed pressure moments, like those,
Dude,
it's tough.
you're speaking my
And
language, man. I started this business solo, man. Obviously, I started it from the ground up, and I was doing everything. I built a website, I ranked it on Google, started getting calls, and I was fulfilling the service calls, answering calls, scheduling appointments. Sometimes I would be cleaning a dryer vent and had to step outside in order to book an appointment. You know what I mean? And the more my business scaled, the more stressful that got. I was having to be the end all be all for my business, and I totally get what you're saying. And the bot, I can see even more as we scale using this strategy, and maybe even doing some paid advertising on Facebook. How the bot would really, the more you do business, the more of a headache it's gonna prevent for you to have. So,
I just got a headache thinking
oh
about
man,
that.
you have no
Oh,
idea. Sometimes I'm on
oh,
somebody's roof and getting calls, and it's not fun, man.
oh my gosh. That you're like Siri, help, and then watching out a lot of Apple or iPhone users, you're like,
Yeah.
dang it, but keep it enjoy. But no, it's really cool because that's another thing too. Like my dad would always be up in the bucket truck. He'd always be on the job site. I remember my dad having notepads, like it was like they were crusted into his dashboard. Like they were so sun baked, they were curling, and like yeah, like that was his filing system and just throwing it up there. And I mean, I can understand why and how he was able to keep track of all of that, but that's a lot. That's a lot of manual process to keep track of, especially when you're getting phone calls, when you're getting different stuff, especially in that today's now and age. Like it's
Right.
insane how stressful it can become because people need answers now. People need answers where you can actually talk to them directly and where your staff, because you need to be out there talking with clients. You need to be on the job site. And because the business hit 6 figures, within a year,
It
I
hit
think?
6 figures of income in less than 24 months. It was right around the 20-month mark. Right now, it's a
Yeah.
six-figure annual business now too. So,
Well, and that's a milestone in itself, especially for a service provider. Like that's powerful because that means that people like you for one, they can connect with you, and that they're referring you to their friends and family. Like that's like you were talking earlier. We were talking on the phone earlier that that you like the neighbors start talking when you do a good
hmm
job, and that's really what it
yeah.
boils down to. And then having the board to come in and talk and ask the questions for you and be able to segment through a lot of it in a way that's not weird. It's not overwhelming, and that's where you get all the information you need. And it's really cool because I think that with even internally, like what I mean, I can imagine with the staff going into the bot and talking with the customers, how has that experience been on the side
Oh
side?
man, I've gotten a lot of great free feedback from customers. And that's the thing I've learned just from getting feedback from customers, which is that's a tip in itself, is getting key feedback from your customers. Um, I learned that it's not all about just saving time and automating your appointment bookings. It's also about wowing the customer. it goes back to that authoritative positioning. You know what I mean? There's, if if they have any um, if they have any part of them that wants to do business with you or is curious at the very least enough to click a link and get a quote using that bot, and then they see how seamless the process is to gain that information and to schedule an appointment, they're more likely to schedule an appointment and they're more likely to have a great impression of your business because, like they say, first impression is the lasting impression. So it's not only just
Yeah.
the money that you're making, it's the long-term impression on the customers that you're making. We have 253 or 56, I don't know which one it is, leads so far in that bot. And they all have been exposed for the first time to our business by that bot. And customers have told me that, wow, that was really cool. The ones that booked appointments, following up with them and getting feedback, they've said, wow, that was really cool. That bot, that was really easy to schedule an appointment. And that, wow, how did you do that? Where did you get that from? Some of them are business owners themselves, and I've had a couple of them say, that was really cool. Where did you get that? And I'll just let them know, like, and it's really cool, really really effective.
Man, and that's just awesome because that's
Right.
all I care about. Whenever I build a bot, I'm always thinking in the shoes of you and your appearance to them because you can't just have a wimpy bot that's out there that is just going to overwhelm people with too much information, like a sleazy
Right.
sales guy at a networking event.
Right.
There's also got to be a connection point too from the content, which you do really, really, really good. It's like you are good at creating that content that gets them to click through on a perspective of knowing the value that you bring to the table. So the bot can just take care of and take over from that, but also be able to work with and be able to invite them in a way that goes through just like a machine gun, goes through the entire process really fast. I mean, they probably get through in like 30 seconds.
Yeah, less than that.
And
Depending on how fast they type.
well, that's another thing too. Like with phone numbers and emails too. Like we've been able to pull in phone numbers and emails without them having to misspell it. Like that's probably one of my favorite parts because I can't stand it when I try to reach out to a lead and they misspell the darn email. I'm like, man, come on, quit typing with your elbows. Dang it, and so and this just really cuts out a lot of that issue. I've really really enjoyed. So we've got a lot of folks jumping in here. Alicia says, great, very good, great content. Thank you, Alicia. Alicia's actually a friend here in Huntsville, and she's phenomenal. And that's the thing. Like I'm so happy that being able to provide this for you because it makes me excited to be able to see it, especially at midnight on a Friday night. Like I'm admittedly up late doing stuff because Joyce would be at work some nights on Fridays. And I'm just like, man, what can I get caught up on? I'm working on some stuff. And I'm getting interrupted. I'm literally having push notifications come across like this. I'm like, because I'm leaving over here recording a training video for my team on how to do some stuff with chatbots. And I'm over here like, pause. It gets like, and it's funny because it's like the bot knows when I'm recording a video. Like it's
hey man, the more clients you take on, listen, I will be glad to take you off those notifications because I don't want to. I don't want this to get to the point where it's a point of anxiety for you, man.
Oh, no, right? That's what I'm saying. I need to have my team is gonna once we get things even to the next phase of it. I can't wait for my team to be able to step in and provide the chatbot support behind that for when clients or when customers are asking for like just the FAQ questions too. So I'm excited to see the next step for you, man, especially Black Friday coming up and Cyber Monday. That's gonna be fun, especially when you start taking payments within for whatever reason, payments within the bot itself for like deposits for bigger projects or kind of stuff like that. That would be stellar because especially if you were to have like a waiting list, for like a 3-month waiting list, and people want to be able to lock in their spot because they know that the holidays are coming up. That's when you start hiring, 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 hiring. That's what's going to get really fun, especially when we kick off those ads, man. That's just going to be
Absolutely,
cool.
man. Absolutely.
Man, I appreciate your time coming on here. I'm over here just checking the comments to see if anybody has any
Yeah,
questions
I
on
don't
this
even know
stuff.
how to do that on my
I
end,
think
man.
I got
Oh,
my
you got a
laptop right
laptop?
here.
Yeah, let me see my laptop. Let's see what's going on.
But yeah, Michael said awesome. I think I see Sean Kemp jumping in here every now and then. What's up, Sean? Oh, hey, we go. We got a question. Hang tight. Let me. I want to get the full context of it. All right. Ooh, where'd he go? Oh, it disappeared on my laptop. All right. Hey, Jeremy, just want to let you know that you are now talking to my grandson, and this is my. Oh man, Jacob, your grandma just popped in here.
My
It's awesome.
grandma.
Oh my goodness,
Hey,
dude.
grandma.
Oh my gosh, this is amazing. This is amazing. Mrs. Mills, that is amazing to be able to have you on here. He has been not only an awesome client, but also a friend. And that, like, seriously, this dude is the same behind the scenes as he is on live stream. And it's just like this is what it's about right here. Like this right here is what it's about. Being able to help you from behind the scenes, but also that you can make time for family. Like that's freaking
Yeah, man, I'm
awesome.
over
That
here
is
starting
so
a
cool.
family, and making time to spend time with them is very important. I mean, what is it to make right?
5 hours.
I mean, what is it? What I'm sorry, what did you say?
I was just laughing really loud.
Listen, what is it to make a bunch of money if you have no time to actually enjoy the benefits and the freedom of having that of because money is just a tool, and if you don't have the time to use that tool, you're just you're just in a vicious cycle. So this type of stuff that you're doing, man, I really appreciate it. It's really changed the game. It's helped me understand what's possible and moving forward in my business, and realizing how simple it will be and how, seamless to scale my business using these strategies, man.
And it's cool how it started small too, right? And then how it just we started to stack on top of it, stack on top of it,
Yeah.
stack on top of it. Because I build the bots for local and all the way up to enterprise, and I'm just like that brings me the deepest joy to be able to see relief in your face.
Yeah.
Okay, not just you telling me this too, but I would like you're like
Yeah.
what? Like, but being able to actually see peace of mind, like actually coming out of you, is what that's the reward. Like that's what makes like oh that makes it worth it. Like that makes Tiffany Jones, what's up? And but like that's what makes it so worth it. Like going through all the different things because we were playing tag for a
Mhm.
while too. You're like, bro, I'm sorry. But then I'm like, I missed you too. And then
Yeah.
we were just we were finding ways with smoke signals how to stay in communication. Like that's and it's crazy because a lot of clients that I've got, man, they're like, man, I'm so sorry for playing phone tag with you. I'm like, if I couldn't put up with the busyness and have the patience for it, then why am I even in
Right.
this? Like, that doesn't make any sense.
Exactly.
And I being able to help pry that bear trap back from snapping back on you, that is what makes it worth it. Because that way you can truly breathe. Like that, you can finally breathe. I mean, even if it's an hour and a half, 2 hours, you got to think about like that's not working hours. That's business
Right.
operating hours value. It's not just $115 per hour. You got to think about the cost, and you got to think about everything else, the expenses and the administration costs and all that. So it could go up to $500 per those hours already saved just by being able to refocus on strategy and be able to work with clients and be able to stay on the
Dude,
front
that is
face
a
of it.
gold nugget. I hope people write that down, man. I'm serious. That is huge, because if you're caught up in one part of your business, then you're not able to see the 10-foot view or the 100-foot view of your business and what it could be. And you know,
Yeah.
it's all about helping people. Really, I really wanted to. That's kind of a rough segue, but I want to talk about helping people, because this is something that I'm learning more about marketing and about how that fits into my business, dryer event tech. And it's not about what you can get, but what you can give. And so what you've been saying about how it's really fulfilling for you to do what you do and see how it impacts my business. It's the same way with any business. If you can
Yeah.
figure out how to give more than you ask in return, then you're gonna have more than you ask. You're gonna have more than you ask, and so like creating how-to content, you know, my business is maintaining dryer vents and cleaning dryer vents and stuff. Well, a lot of people want to know how to do it themselves. Show them how to
Right.
do it. And if they
Works.
want help, guess who they're coming to first? Right? So that's been a huge thing, and it's fulfilling when you do it that way too. When your main goal is, okay, how can I help my customer, my ideal customer, rather than how can I gain them as a customer? You know what I mean? How can I get them to spend money with me? Of course, that's an objective. It has to be in order to grow your business. But if you switch that focus to how can I serve them and how can I help them
Thank you.
before even asking for anything, it's a subtle shift and it changes everything.
Well, it completely cuts out 80% of the work too, because a lot of people are like, well, what if they don't hire me? Okay, they don't. Next, like it's the biggest thing that is your like any business, anyone in a service provider, they're providing time. They're providing expertise. They're providing the blood, sweat, and tears it took to master that craft. So that way they can get done within a fraction of a millisecond compared to an hour and a half,
Right.
3 years, what someone else can do. Anyone else can learn YouTube. Anyone can take the time to do it, but it's not about that. It's about being able to meet a demand and, like you said,
Right.
serve like that. Like that's it. Like I mean that right there, that type of content models never fail. Like that is teaching people how to do your job, pretty much to show them that they can't is where they hire you. Like that's because like that's education. It's how to. It's DIY content on like Pinterest, on YouTube, and all of this stuff. It gets the most engagement because people want to learn.
Success
And
leaves clues. If do it yourself content is getting the most engagement, like you said, and the most views, and people are searching for this type of stuff, then that's what you need to be creating for your own business if you really want to scale and become the authority, right?
I hope everyone heard that right there, like seriously. And that kind of like, and that's the thing for any local business, anyone who is starting from just with their current resources, like teach people how to do it. That's what works. It's what's worked since the dawn of time. Like you teach people how to do it, and then what happens is you can either do it with them or you can do it for them, and that's just the name of the game. And a lot of folks are so short-sighted that it's like, look, I'm not going to tell you anything about what I do, which there are, I mean, little discretion, but this is for in context of local businesses and stuff and service providers. But there are certain industries, of course, you just can't blab your mouth out.
Right.
But being able to educate folks, like for landscaping, teach someone how to do it, like make a retaining wall. I guarantee you, the average Joe is not going to take the time to go rent all the tools that he needs, spend the 20s of thousands of dollars to get the tools permanently for one job. Okay, he's gonna if he has a Suzuki, he's gonna have to go rent a truck to get a U-Haul. They do all these things, so they have to go all out of the way because this is not their craft. This is not for one. Also, too, guarantee they're gonna quit halfway through it because they're not gonna enjoy it. When someone wants to do it based on budget and money, they're gonna dread it. It's miserable. And that's where, of course, if they're not under crunch time or deadline or anything, but it's really cool because no one knows your business like you do, and no one's taken the time and the years to study it like you have. And cleaning out a dryer vent, I'm not about to touch that with a 10-foot pole, no pun intended, because I just don't care to learn. I don't. That is not something I wake up, oh, I'm going to clean my dryer vent today. Like, I don't ever think about that. I'm just like,
and
thank you.
How I would say either, of course, this is just an average number that I've just grabbed out of the thin air. Do not quote me on this, but I'm pretty sure probably around 50 to maybe 70%, let's just say, of your customers aren't going to want to do what you do.
They're inquisitive. They're curious. You got another phone call, by the way.
I just got interrupted again. Yeah. So
Every time he prays, I'm like, guys, it's another lead. It's another lead.
Leads just coming everywhere. We got all kinds of stuff going on, calls, text, emails,
Man,
Facebook stuff. But uh,
yeah.
the people that you serve, they have a life, man. They specialize in whatever they specialize in. They understand the value of hiring a professional, and so and
Right.
so either they love doing stuff themselves, or you're gonna pull them in as a customer. And if they do it themselves, more power to them. You know what I mean? You help them.
And the kicker is there's no such thing as a lost lead. It's either a customer or a referral
Right.
partner.
That's true. Yeah. They now have been exposed to your brand, and they see the value in it. So
Absolutely.
top of mind marketing.
And that's when absolutely like it's just keeping it refreshed, and this is not like any age old secret that's been shunned from the public. Like when you think about like especially with like churches and other places and nonprofit organizations, they go to serve. Now, if that was a if that and that you flip that over that principle over into business and you've served, what happens is people trust you and they get to know you for who you are, so you don't have
Mm,
to fake it. Yeah, and that's I think a lot of business owners are so overwhelmed with how do I create great content? How do I do this? Your brand is an
right.
extension of you. Like your business is only going to do business with people that you can relate to, connect to, and be able to actually serve in a way that is
Hmm.
naturally you. Now, different like bigger corporations have different cultures to it, but like when you're a mom and pop shop, or when you are a brand new business that's even like for that's been in
Hmm.
business for 2 years, your brand is an extension of you. Period. Like that's why because if it's a different brand and then like it's a whole shift when you get to meet them face to face, it's awkward.
Right.
It is really awkward. Yeah. Especially the infamous stereotype of the bubbly guy that's on public, and then he's like a super jagged and rigid, and then behind the scenes. Or he's, or even the flip is even funnier. It's like super serious, and he's like, "Hi, how are you doing?" And you're like,
Yeah.
confused.
Yeah.
Explain. I don't understand. What's going on? Like, regardless if it's like this, the dynamic shift, your brand is an extension of you. And that's where those referral partners, you can put money in people's pockets by giving business. Because especially with the holidays coming up, I mean, bro, like that's another thing. Well, that's one thing to supercharge a lot of your referrals are the past clients and the clients that are the people that have been asking about it or can't afford it. Say, hey, look, send us a referral. We'll comp this part of it. Bam. And you got not only you knocked out two birds with one stone, but also you got a loyal referral partner, but also you got somebody who's going to spread the word and just champion you to their entire neighborhood. They're going to scour the neighborhood, or there's just their Facebook feed. That's a share in their audience right there, and that's something that's really powerful that a lot of folks just kind of overlook. But it's an old school tactic that
Oh
works
yeah.
every time. It works to the very day. It's how I
Yep.
grow my
It's
business.
huge. It's huge. It's something. Yeah.
So,
It's transformational, man, for sure. Gold nuggets, man. I hope people are writing stuff down. I think we're talking about even way more than what we had planned. So we're just kind of letting it loose.
yeah, we're definitely going way overboard. I think on the time. I mean, but it's good
Yeah.
stuff. I think that people, and we've got people watching too, so it's valuable. So we're not just like talking smoke and talking to
No, yeah, we're good.
ourselves.
How many people are watching, man? I'm
But
all thumbs over here.
8 or 6 or so, been consistent for the past hour or so. But it's been
Good, man.
good. I mean, I think people are gonna
Oh, yeah.
they jump in and out, catch the replay too. But I just appreciate, especially with your grandmother jumping in here, man. That was just really cool. Like that, I just awesome. Like that is just like when. And here's the thing. This takes a whole other level deeper. Is that when your family is grateful for our like what us what we're working together on, that
It does something, man.
is awesome.
It does.
That does
It
something
does something
too.
because this is something that is
Man,
very common when it comes to jumping out in faith into entrepreneurship is doubt. You're gonna have it, your family's gonna have it, your friends are gonna have it. You might have one or two of your friends or family that's gonna say, go for it, but it's very rare to have that. Like people are gonna be like, are you sure? What are you doing? You need to go to school. You know what I mean? They have their own fears and doubts, and they're gonna automatically not because they hate you or they just, they don't want you to be successful, but they're going to
Yeah.
pass that on to you,
They just
right?
understand.
And so once you get
Yeah.
past that and you deal with your own doubt and you make something happen and you have a success under your belt and then they are happy for you, that feels so good. I mean, it feels so good that they
All about that first
right, right,
milestone. All about that first
right.
milestone.
What'd you say?
So it's all about that first milestone, getting
Right,
over that hump.
man, right. But another thing that I personally, and this is just a personal belief, I really feel that it's very important to give glory to God because if we don't do that and we get a little too, oh, I did this, you know what I mean? Then that can actually limit how much we can do. If we think we're doing it out of our own strength, then that kind of limits us because we really don't have anything we can do ourselves in the first place. So
Well, like that is the biggest thing, is keeping a soft heart.
yeah,
No matter what the gifting is, no matter what the success is, people for lack and for success, for excess, both get distracted by objects or things. And it's easy too, because when you achieve success, it's easy to have that as a very glamorized
mm,
prism. And that's what it's like with that rich young ruler
oh
that the
yeah,
Bible talks about. Man, he let those things tangle him up.
yeah,
And I mean, if there's any business owner, I mean, you and I both can relate to this, is that when things go good, it's really, really easy to get distracted by
hmm,
those things. Super, super easy, because that's where discipline has to come in, and being frugal. And knowing that, like this, when sales do come in, okay, this is awesome, but what are the expenses? What are the other things coming in? What are the other stuff that's being
right.
able to do that, to be able to portion everything out and make sure that there's nothing out of whack or
Yeah, and
out of sync.
it comes
So,
down to controlling your emotions. Really, I mean, when you get started, you have the emotions of fear standing in your way, and then when you get successful, you have the emotions of, oh wow, this is great, and then you might get too carried away because you start reacting off of impulse. You know what I mean? And things can go south real quick. You think you got successful and it's just all uphill from there. Things can go south so quick it ain't funny. So maintaining a level emotion about your business and about where you're headed and keeping focused on your goals and where you're headed with your business, man, that is a huge thing.
absolutely, man. Well, I know that we both have a
Yeah,
lot to get done today still. And I just appreciate you coming out here, man, and just sharing your story with everyone like that. I just appreciate that, man. It's freaking awesome to call you a friend too, on top of
absolutely,
everything.
man. I appreciate you, brother.
Man. So, but yeah, guys, if you guys have any questions during, after this is cut off, by the time you catch this video, just drop them in the comments. Well, I'll jump in there. I know that Jay will be there if you have any questions for him too. Don't just take it from me. Like, that's why I brought him on here on this live stream, to share his experience, and to be able to, from a service provider's standpoint perspective, so that way you can actually have another reference and a resource to ask questions when it comes to automation if you're not 100% sure about it for your business right now, because you don't have to spend an arm and a leg to actually generate appointments and leads. You can really leverage social media right now for where you're at, what your offer is, without having to get all these glamorous tools and things that glitter that are not going to produce gold. And so it's a matter of practicality and being able to match that automation to your business model, because stories like this guy are going to be able to become your story too. And being able to have everything in position. Sorry, again, I'm just talking so much, my mouth's been, but mouth is starting to dry up a little bit. But being able to have something that's applicable for you, that's relevant for you too, is that for your business model, automation does not count, or it doesn't have any relevance if you don't know your manual processes yet. So it's super, super important to know what part and where you're at in your business. And John Juan, a great content brother, always good. Absolutely. So John Juan, he's I think that is
Yeah, that's my guy.
Jay. Do you know him?
He actually works with me on dryer
Cool.
tech. That's one of my guys. He cleans dryer vents. That's my boy. We go way back too.
Sweet. Well, and that's what's awesome, man. Is that that's why I wanted to do a Facebook live stream, because that way everyone that knows you, everyone who knows me, and vice versa, can even connect on that playing field as well. Because that's what all this is about. It's about bringing folks together, and of course, operating the gifts that God's given to each one of us, and staying to our freaking lane. And because I know you're a tech whiz just like I am, man. You can pick up bots like with a blink of your eye, but is that really where you need to spend your time or your gifting and your energy at? It's just like it's an immediate.
Something I failed to mention is I was playing around with the bots, with the mini chat before you stepped in and took over, and I was getting a little bit of results, but yeah, like you said, definitely not something I want to take on, because I saw over the shoulder when you were showing me how intensive, how detailed that stuff is. And I'm like, wow, this stuff does way more than I even thought it would. So just like we were saying earlier, man, it pays to pay an expert.
Yeah, and it's way more expensive to redo it.
Man, that's the thing, man. If you think it's expensive working with an expert, try working with an amateur. So yeah, man.
Oh my God. Well, man, I appreciate your time again, and everyone who's on here. If you guys have any questions, just drop them in the comments. This is going to stay on our walls. This is going to stay on our timelines, and we're here for you guys. But we got a lot of work to get done today. And Jacob, if you had anything to leave with them, sorry, my science is acting like crazy today. But do you have anything you want to leave with them, man? You're more than glad. I'm more than happy.
I mean, we said a lot as it is. I mean, I just want everyone to be successful, man. I mean, it's been great. It's a game changer owning your own business. If you're watching this, then you probably own your own business, whether it be a local business or online business, whatever you're trying to do. Don't stop. Keep going. Pray. Pray much. Take care of yourself, your health. Huge thing, because you need energy in order to do this stuff. And just stay at it. And if automation fits into your business at the point where you're at, definitely get into it and use it to your benefit. So.
And I've also put in the comments for them to go tinker around with your bot, just to let you know. And so that way they can go check it out. But also, if you guys have any questions even just for me personally or for Jacob, you guys can inbox us, but drop them in the comments. But if you want to schedule a discovery call to even see if it's worth your time for a bot, like, does it even match? Does it even fit? And I'll be straight up with you. Like, I've told Jacob sometimes the ideas that he had for the bot were not good. And I was like, this is what we need to do instead. And we will walk through a lot of that and evaluate where you're at as far as content creation, your sales process, and your marketing, your follow-up, to really examine, just do a SWOT analysis throughout your weak points and the friction points to see if it even merits the attention just yet to inject it into your business right now, or to slowly integrate it milestone by milestone to help you get used to it, because I think that was the biggest thing for you too. You were getting used to it too, and yeah, it's definitely a habit change
for sure, man. For sure. Yep.
Again, I appreciate your time. I'm gonna go ahead and end the stream.
Right.
But I appreciate you, man, and let's get cranking on business.
Let's do it, man. Appreciate you, man. Have a good one.
You too.